Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allows you to record and edit your broadcast so it sounds great. And they even distribute your broadcast for you so that it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So make sure you download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome to Future Educators Talk with your hosts, DAMIAN Anderson, Andrew FRETT, and KJ Johnson II. Always remember, we are future educators.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Future Educators Talk. On today, we are all here together except for KJ, but don't you worry, you guys, he will be back soon. So on today's special episode, we are so very excited. As you can see, we have on Coach Darnell here as our new co-host. And on this episode here, we are interviewing you guys, his mother, which I'm so very excited about. How about you, Andrew? I'm just so excited for this here.
I don't know what to say. Let's see what wisdom she has for us to give on today.
Yes. So everyone, please welcome on to the podcast, Coach Darnell's mother. So we are bringing her on now.
Hello. Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I am great. Thank you so much for coming on to our podcast here.
You are welcome. I'm excited about it.
Yes, and so are we as well. So right before we get started here, I just want to know, what do you think of us adding your son as our new co-host to the podcast? Because we love him so much. Every time he comes onto the podcast, we always say that he brings out the energy to us and some realness. So we had to make it permanent. So what do you think of this new addition added to our family here?
Oh, well, if he fits, then that's a great addition. You know, because sometimes people don't fit, but if you all feel that he really fits and that he really is, you know, an asset, I am elated for him. I'm glad for him.
Yes. Andrew.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's get started here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Barbara Wright, and I'm a teacher. I've been in education 28 years. Currently, I am a reading coach. I've been coaching of those 28 years. I've probably been coaching about 17. I had my own school at one time. I had a charter school in Jacksonville, Florida. I opened up in 1997, and then in 2001, my contract was not renewed with the county. So I went on from there, and I took off a year, and I homeschooled children who didn't want to send them back to public school. And then once I did that, I decided I would go and get a job with the same county that didn't want me to have a charter school. And I started working with them. And then about 3 years in, we moved to Orange County, where we lived for 11 years. And there I was a coach, academic coach, literacy coach, reading coach, all kind of different kind of coaches. But my primary, what I really love doing as a coach is working with teachers, but then taking what I teach teachers and showing them how to teach kids. So it's not a thing where I just go in and tell teachers, well, this is what you need to do. I'll model, and then I'll let them video me. and then we'll talk about it. And then if they see something that they like, I'll tell them how to, get started with it. But I never try to infringe my own beliefs on anybody. I just do what I do because I know God gave me children as far as education goes. And I started having that desire and burning when I was in the 9th grade. So I've really been doing this education thing since I was like 14,
Oh,
if you want, right? So it's just in me. I'm excited about the kids. I'm not excited about education as I was 28 years ago, because things has really changed. And now it's more like we're supposed to be robots or whatever. I don't mind change, but I don't see where it's benefiting a lot as far as our kids go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a little bit about me.
Yes.
Good job.
We're just getting started here,
Okay.
So I want to ask you this here, since you said that, and a lot has been happening all over the world, especially in education, where we all got hit with the pandemic and everything in the
Right.
educational world just changed. So
Mhm.
what do you think of the future of education? Where do you see that going right after this pandemic here?
We're going to have to do a whole lot of regrouping and looking at things. And instead of changing policies and trying to get this publisher to sell this book or this company to write this test, we really need to go back and look at where are we losing our students? Where are we losing our kids? When you have 2nd grade children coming in from primary grades, such as kindergarten through 1st grade, and they still can't read, or they have no concept of phonics or phonemic awareness, they barely can recognize their alphabet. This was before the pandemic. And now the pandemic hit us. But our kids was already struggling before COVID. So I don't know where we're gonna go. I have no earthly idea as to where we're gonna go. But I do know this. If we don't start taking care of our children and doing what we need to do for our children, we're gonna continue to have this so-called gap. Because you can always make numbers do what you want numbers to do. You want money, you fudge numbers. You want people to think that schools are bad, you give them the worst data you can find. But our kids are better than the numbers on paper, and they deserve a lot better. When the pandemic hit, everybody went virtual. Some teachers were reluctant because they were not a student in technology. So this just blew their mind, and they didn't know how to function. And so we lost. You can't go back and get what you lost.
right.
That's not even realistic.
Right. Yes. And
So that's pretty much my opinion. We just got to do what we got to do while we can do it.
Right.
yes.
Especially with teachers that so used to do face-to-face instruction, now they have to do it virtually. And some teachers don't know how to use a computer. So it's really a challenge for
Exactly.
them.
Yes. Yes. And I believe I had this conversation with one of my friends a couple of weeks ago about I don't understand this. Why do teachers label their students as numbers, as a score, where you should not be doing that? Don't label your student as a score. Like James is a 96 student. Sally is a 68 student. Like you should not do that to your student. You should label them as human beings. Like why do you think some teachers do that? Because that makes no sense. You should not do that.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, but then when we started with Gold 2000, then it went to um, uh, the one that Clinton put in place, 2012 something. And then they started with this core. And then they said, okay, the teachers aren't teaching the students and the students aren't learning. So now we're going to tie their evaluations into testing. Then guess what? You see numbers. You don't see the kids. You see the numbers. Johnny in the red, you better move Johnny. Johnny is a low performing, you better get him where he needs to be. Or at the end of the day, we're going to be regrouping. We're going to see what we need to do either with you as a teacher. So it's a lot that we have to go through as teachers when it comes to students. So that's why you see people, you see these schools having all these data meetings. And the kids have a name, a name is connected to the kid. But when you're talking about data, they're not talking about the kid per se. They're not calling the name. The name is called when I say I'm gonna put Johnny in this group right here, and this is what y'all need to do with them. But at the end of the day, it's all about moving numbers. And so if that's all you're gonna do is move numbers, you're right. You lose sight of the human. You lose sight of the fact that, guess what? If Johnny decides he doesn't want to do right on that test, who's going to make him? And that's why you also have seen in the past a lot of teachers losing their certificates because they're so afraid that if their students don't do well, they'll cheat. And that's it's sad, but it's true. Look at all those people that got not only lost their certificates over in Georgia some years ago. Not only did they lose their certificate, they went to jail. The superintendent didn't go because he died. But a lot of officials, administrators in high places, up in the district areas, they went to jail. Why? Because they were cheating on the test. And they wanted the kids to look good and they wanted the state to look good. So it's like you got to make a choice. And every day that I go to work, my choice is I'm going to help somebody's child read better. And it doesn't have anything to do with numbers. The fact is either they can read or they can't read. And if they can't, you help them. Because after all of this foolishness is over, they got to get a job somewhere.
True.
So I truly, truly understand what you're saying about, why is that a number? Because it's people money.
I do have a question, Miss Wright. I want you to share your opinion on this during this pandemic. Do you think that they should do standardized testing?
Well, I can't say they shouldn't. I don't say they shouldn't. But what I do say is instead of standardized testing, we need to look at more norm reference type testing. You want to know where the kids are. You have to know where you're going, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a test that's going to grade the school or going to grade the teacher. It needs to be something that you can utilize. I was talking to a few of my colleagues the other day, and I was saying to them, I said, it's sad that we have this test that we can't do nothing with it. You can't do nothing with it because it's divided into 4 segments. And all you get back is whether or not a child understands the basic standard. Can they move past the basics to a little bit more thinking? And then after you, after you move them there, then can they do more strategic thinking? And then, but it doesn't tell you, it doesn't break down. It doesn't break it down to where, okay, this child has a deficit with comprehension in reading informational text. Now that tells me something. That means that if the child is having problems reading informational text, then that means that either they don't know how to organize the thinking, organize the text, they don't understand the text because they don't know the genre of the text. They don't understand how to take pictures and illustrations, text features, and make it work for them to show them, okay, this is what the text is all about. So they don't have that. And because they don't have that, then it's difficult for them to maneuver. Most kids, when they read, especially in elementary and even in high school, you give them a passage, they read straight through it. You say, okay, well, what did you learn? Nothing, I don't even know what I read. You're absolutely right, you don't. Because we never taught them how to read properly. And that's why you got kids that go to college who can't read and they don't make it in English 101. Our 1102, 1103. Why? Because the college professor says, go read this, write this essay, and that's how we're going to do this. But they never really understood how to maneuver when they are reading a text. They don't know how to stop and think and process and say, I wonder why the author did this. I wonder why they wrote it this way. That's a normal thing that you do when you're a good reader. If I'm not a good reader, I don't do that. I just read. So you get a lot of kids that say, I don't understand. You can't get mad. They don't. They don't understand. And because they don't understand, and we are pushing tests instead of teaching our children how to be educated citizens, I wouldn't care if they don't go to college. Everybody's not meant to go to college. But at least give them a decent education where when they come out of high school, they're not confused or they're not embarrassed to go buy a car because they can't even read the contract, or a house. They make money, but people can cheat them. Why? Because they can't read. They don't understand that process. So give them a test that's going to help you to evaluate where the weaknesses are. Not
So are we gonna use this one from here on out? Because
Yes.
Zoom don't want us
Because
to
I can't. No.
Zoom don't
I'm
like us.
tired of it. Yeah, it was working
Zoom does
great
not
for
like
us
us.
at the beginning, but now it's tired of us.
right.
Zoom does not like us.
That does not like us, and for everybody that's watching and hearing, listen, Zoom does not want us to be great. I'm just going to say it personally. It doesn't want us to be great.
No.
It got my host over here just sad. I was about to cry. The thing was like, you about to cry, and I was gonna cry. It just hurt my feelings. And then Andrew over here making these faces like he's won $1 million on the lottery. So I'm like trying to figure out what's really good, like what's really going on. Like we are family, here. I love it. That's why I love this show. Come on, mama.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, here she goes.
Let me unmute.
There you go, Sister Soldier.
All right. Let's.
They ain't want us to be great on Zoom, Mama. They ain't want us to be great. They cut us off.
No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Zoom will shut you down. If you say you're on there for 45 minutes, that's what they mean. And if they,
All right.
All right, I'm good now.
All right, you guys. Let's continue this, and hopefully this will be great for us. It will not cut us off.
Oh, you won't. You don't have to worry about Teams. We use this all the time at work. Yeah, so you're in the right place.
All right. Andrew, Coach Darnell, I'll let you have it.
Oh Lord.
All right. So I got a question for you, Miss Wright.
Okay.
Be professional. Um, if you could do anything to improve our education system, what would you do?
Um. Hmm. That's a big order there. Um. Well, first I'll go back to the basics.
Elaborate.
And I think she's frozen.
Yeah, I think Mama said too. So I'm gonna just like intervene with her
Okay.
for a second there. So like, and then when she says back to the basics, like that's exactly what she means. Like back to the basics, like your basic reading, your basic math. Getting our kids to understand that they need the basics. Stop, trying to flip flop, thinking you're in advanced when you're not ready to be advanced yet. When you need to still learn your basics so that you can get to that next level. And so I feel like with her, she would change the whole education system.
Mm.
She would, because if you're not going to be about teaching these kids, you're not gonna teach at all. Like that's how she was with her school. She was very she was very stern, very she didn't play the radio. If she wasn't about those kids, she was gonna get rid of you. Do she need to check her email? Come to the same email that we sent for this Microsoft Teams? I'm asking. I'm asking.
Yes, you could resend.
Yeah, just forward that same email.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I need to change something.
So yeah, but uh, when she had her school, if the teach if the teachers weren't doing what they needed to do, she would get rid of them. A teacher wanted to fight my mom because he was going to fight her because he wasn't teaching the students math, and because my
Mm.
mom had that, that with the kids, that they were like, nah, we got your back. So when I say she would change the whole education system, she would, because it's not about where you got your degree from. It's not about how many PDs you've done. It's about, are you going to teach our kids to where they got to get to? So we're going to start from the basics. So it's like she's going to build the foundation. She's going
Mm-hmm.
to put some water on it, and
Mm-hmm.
then when that thing sprouts, it's going to grow. And
Mm-hmm.
when it grows,
Right.
All right.
we're going to move on to the next one. So I so
I'm
this is,
sorry.
you're fine, Miss Wright. This is what
I
I
know you're
told them.
fine.
I told them if as long as I've been knowing you, you would change the whole educational system. The reason I said you would change the whole educational system because if those teachers aren't about teaching those kids from the basics to help them get to where they need to be, you're going to get rid of them. And then I told them about the incident back when you were the principal at EYMA with the math teacher and how she got mad at you and how those kids had your back. But I
Yep.
told them that you're the type of person, you're gonna set the foundation and you're gonna water it and you're gonna let it grow. But as long as those teachers understand what the major importance is those kids,
Mm-hmm.
you're good to go. Now go ahead, sister.
Okay. Well, you all are going to find this very ironic. You asked about the education system. Why did I go online once Joe Biden became the elected president to find out how could I apply for the U.S. Department of Education to be the Secretary of Education? Do you know that that is a very difficult um, task? It is. They go through a lot. But when you look at the job description of what you have to have, to be the U.S. State Secretary of Education, all you need is an education background, have taught, been a principal, or anything like that that's in administration. Well, we know that that's false because Betty DeVos had no education background, none whatsoever. And so it takes more than just one person to change the system. You're talking about a system. We're not talking about changing clothes. We're talking about a system that's been embedded in us for a very, very long time. So you got to cut it, and you got to cut it from the root. Where's the root? Because if you think about how we even became educated, look how long it took us to become educated. Look how long it took us to be able to read a book, to be able to write. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, in The Miseducation of the Negro, he put it out there. If you read the book, or if you read the book and you think about where we are right now, we've not gone any further than what Dr. Carter G. Woodson said in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro. And he talked about how to educate the Negro child. And he talked about Negro children having teachers who look like them. Then all of a sudden, we wanted to integrate. But people lost the whole concept of the integration. We weren't really trying to just go and be integrated. We wanted the same caliber of education as our Caucasian colleagues' children are them. That's what we wanted. So they took that and they made it something totally different. But you think about the education system now. You're not going to tell me that there is not a dynamic there that's keeping us down. We talk about the education gap. What about the kids who are moving, who are doing what they got to do in school, who are graduating early? You know, that we don't say anything about those kids. But what do? We talk about Title I students. We talk about poverty. We talk about, well, you know, the parents aren't this and the parents aren't that. At some point, we got to stop trying to make excuses for why we don't give our children a quality education, regardless of the background. And so when I was telling some of my students, as a matter of fact, I do a group every morning, and I let the kids pretty much tell me what is it that they want me to go over. So we have 2 days of ELA and 2 days of math. Well, on Fridays, we have open session where you can talk about anything you want, the week, whatever. And we just handle it that way. But before they leave my room every morning, they have to tell me if they're red, yellow, or green. Red means you having a problem right now. We need to not let you move. So you need to talk to me right now so we can get it out the way. Yellow mean I'm feeling okay. You know, I'm pretty much all right. I can do, you know, I'm not going to go to the red, but I'm kind of, you know, trying to get it together so I can get to the green. And green means, yeah, when I walk out of here, I'm ready to go. And so that's what I do. And then I send them to their teachers. It has done wonders because I hold them accountable. If you tell me you are green, then you better be green all day. If you slide to a yellow, then you better tell somebody you're sliding. But it makes them responsible, and it makes grown people have to listen to them. Because if they're coming to you and they're telling you that they are hurting today, or, you know, I'm hungry, or whatever the situation may be, if they can be honest with us and tell us that, why can't we not be honest with them and help them when they come? And I'm in a Title I school, 100% free and reduced lunch. But does that mean my kids don't get a quality education? Not at all. So we have to stop. Grown people, we got to stop. The kids not the issue. It's us. Because everybody trying to get something for nothing. And the kids are getting caught in the crossfire. Any more questions?
Andrew. Oh, yes. Oh yes, we're just reminiscing everything that you're saying because like Coach Darnell knows this. Like every time he comes on to our podcast, whatever he has to say, he knows this. He sees me over here just sitting here and just not saying nothing because I'm just listening to what he has to say. And for me, and I told this, and I said this like in an episode, people need to listen to what is being said. You need to absorb all of that in and don't worry about all of the talking stuff. You just sit down for a moment and just take it all and just listen to what is being said so you could do some action behind it. So yeah, so Andrew, what do you have next?
I don't have anything at the moment.
Well,
So,
I would jump right into here. I want to know this here from you. We are still in this pandemic here,
Mhm.
and for me, I am worrying about our students' well-being, especially during this time. We need to be there for them. And how I want to know this from you. How can we make this world a even better place for them to live in and for them to know that we love them, we care about them, and for them to feel safe? Because you have some students who are homeless. They're out on the streets. They don't have any homes. So how can we make this a safe place for them to live in at possible, if there's even a chance for that?
Well, you got to educate them and you got to keep them reminded that even though they're young, they're not going to live forever, and stop being careless. You see a lot of young people walking around no mask on. Okay,
Mhm.
but if you get hit with that COVID, your friends putting a teddy bear in front of the hospital, some candles and some flowers or whatever, that's not going to bring you back. So we have to continue to educate. And then we got to be an example. We I work in elementary school and it's all day. Put your mask on, pull your mask up. It's uncomfortable. It really is. So what I decided to do was I went and bought shields through Amazon for every kid from kindergarten to second grade. And I have leftovers, so now I give them also to the third grade. So when we're doing reading and I want to hear them read and make those sounds, they have their own shields. I put their names on them, I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I hold on to them. Then the kids come the next day, I give them this shield, we do what we got to do. But we have to educate them and we have to let them know, we're not going to let you just go around and be careless. And we got to not lie to them. You know, I'll
Yeah.
tell a kindergartner like I'll tell somebody in 12th grade, baby, I don't want COVID. You better put that mask on.
mm-hmm.
And that's what you
Right.
got to do because this problem is so much bigger than we are. We just have to make sure that we stay on top of the research, that we stay on top of this news, take out the garbage, go with what is really there. And I'm going to be honest with you. The only doctor I was really listening to before the Moderna vaccine and the I've forgotten the other one, but before those vaccines was Dr. Fauci because everybody wanted to make him be quiet. I said, that's the
Mhm.
one I'm going to follow. But you know what? God is good
Mm-hmm.
because when they shut him down in the White House, they picked him up on nighttime TV. And then they picked him up on CNN. And then they picked him up here and they picked him up there. And then Joe Biden came in and he said, okay, you stand on this team. But then to find out that we have an African American woman, um, her name is, they call her Kizzy Colbert. I think that's her last name. She's the one who came up with the Moderna virus vaccine. She's the one. They interviewed her the other night. What more of a pleasure? You talking about STEM and you talking about our kids being involved in STEM. Next month is Black History Month. If
Mhm.
nobody doesn't talk about her, you better believe I'm gonna talk about her. Because just like the professor said the other night when they were doing, well, the other morning, they were doing a big interview, and they were going to different professors in schools and even talking to her teachers when she was at elementary school. They were going to talk to different people. And the professor said this thing. He said, she will not be a hidden figure. And I thought that was so dynamic. When I saw the movie Hidden Figures, to know that those Black women were in NASA and they were the ones who helped to get that rocket up in space and then help bring it down. And you had all of these people with all of these degrees and all of this supposedly knowledge, one person. So how do we change education? One person at a time. But if you do your part and I do my part and a million of us do our part who really are concerned about education, they're going to have to hear us. Because the empty wagon they make a lot of noise, but they're not saying nothing. We got to be the wagon that's making the noise, but we got something to say. And you guys are the ones that's going to have to carry this. I'm like 2 years out. My plan is not to stop doing what I'm doing, but to open me a daycare. Why? Because I want them young, 2 years old. And if parents say, you know what, Ms. Wright, I don't want to send my child to kindergarten. I'm going to do it just like I did with the charter school. Put kindergarten in there. Next thing you know, I have first grade in there. Next thing you know, I got a whole school. Then I can pass that on so I can keep traveling and doing what I like to do. But just stay with the research. If I don't say anything that you all get from me this evening, stay on top of the research. Everything is not fake news, because you can always fact check whatever you want to fact check. So if we're going to help our kids and we're going to stop people from saying we got this academic gap, then guess what? Then we need to jump in there and we need to do what we got to do. In the houses, in the churches, in the basements, at the library, on the bus, in the mall, wherever. You got a conversation, you can pick up a conversation. If you're an educator, you talk. And when you tell people you're a teacher, it's like, wow. So people still love us. You know, we're not all out there doing crazy stuff. People still respect teachers.
Yes. And I want to talk about this next here of what had happened last Wednesday. I still can't believe that even happened to our country. It's seriously, that did not need to happen in the first place. So right after that, how did you open up the conversation of talking with this to the students?
Oh, this was so ironic that you're even going there. This is so funny. So last Thursday, we were doing ELA. I pulled a editorial and we were reading it. So I asked them to read over the editorial. I said, any words you don't know, let me know. I'm gonna put them on the board. Cut it down. And so what I did was they asked about what does impeach mean and what does convict mean. And so we started talking about it. So I put it on the board in a bubble map. So I said, let's read the sentence. I want you to see if you can try to figure out what it means. So these are fifth graders. So they read it. They read it again. And one little boy said, that's to get rid of somebody. That's to get rid of Trump. I said, well, yeah, pretty much. So I put his name on there, as a bubble map. Because now you do know when you're in public school, you got to toe the line. You can't voice your political opinions or anything, because you don't want to send nobody home and they make the parent mad saying that, you told my child this or told my child that. We don't talk like that. So I let them do it. So once we did that, I said, so let's talk about convict.
So we talked about, I gave him a sentence. They say, well, he need to go to jail for what he did. All of that stuff he did, he needs to go to jail. I said, well, convict also is a multiple meaning word. I say the convict that we have here, dealing with the impeachment of, get rid of him, and to convict, that means he got to go before some courts. If they want to convict him, they got to bring charges and he has to go before a court. But also, convict just doesn't mean when you are put in jail. You have to be convicted in your heart. And when you're convicted in your heart, then that means you're going to do the right thing. So I left it up on the board. So then I told them, I said, I got a task for you. They said, what? I said, anybody who could come back to me today and tell me what the 25th Amendment says, I have a prize for you. So I said, you can't answer not one adult in the building. You got to make it happen. They said, well, Ms. Wright, we don't have computers. I said, you better make it happen. You make anything else happen that you want, you better make it happen. So I went and got on the intercom and I said, teachers, I've given the fifth graders an assignment and they have to tell me by 3 o'clock today what the 25th Amendment is and what's the purpose of it. And I don't want them to be able to get any answers from any adults in this building. This one little boy who's has a learning disability. I don't know exactly what it is, but he has a IEP in that. He came to me and he said, Miss Wright, can I get a computer out that cart? I said, sure, you can get a computer out the cart. He went and he looked it up. He said, I found it. I said, you found what? I found the 25th Amendment. I said, okay, so what is it? So he started reading it to me. I said, I don't understand that. You need to tell me what that means. I mean, you need to go paraphrase this. I wasn't thinking about no disability. I wasn't thinking about none of that. That child came and he wanted to make sure he got a prize. Now, mind you, I didn't give him anything. I didn't give him no money. I didn't give him no candy. I didn't give him a pen. I didn't give him a pencil. What I gave him was knowledge. That was his reward for that day. And I called his name on the intercom the next day. And I told everybody what he said about it and how he paraphrased it. He walked around happy as all get out. Every day when they come to my room now, he right in there. Oh, I know Miss Wright. I know Miss Wright. I know the answer. And that's what makes me happy. This foolishness that took place at that Capitol, that was always there. Okay? They just needed opportunity because you saw them going there with a Confederate flag. I don't know if you saw the noose. You got all the way in there and got in the chair of the House, Speaker of the House. You got in the chair. You were able to steal the podium. 5 people were killed because you said our leader 45 said, let's walk down to the Capitol. We got to fight for our own thing. We got to do this ourselves. They walked to the Capitol. He walked to the Oval or wherever he went, but you didn't see him down there. And now he's trying to fix it. It's too late. But don't get angry about what happened. That's what we saw. Understand what it means. That means we got to be careful. That means that you young men on this podcast, you better be cognizant of everything that goes on around you. This thing is real. And I was telling my husband this morning, I said, it's so funny that during slave times, you would have a group of white men come down to the slave house and take the man out of the house, beat him in front of the family, and hang him in front of the family, even burn his body in front of the family, just cruel at night. And they wore hoods at night. These people didn't wear no hoods. But that same mentality is there. So guess what? It never stopped. It just was dormant. And it took 45 to raise it up, and they went for the gold. But you know, like I know, we wouldn't have got past the barricades. We wouldn't have made it to the steps. So let's just be real. We can't get mad. We could just be cognizant that this stuff is real, and we got to look out for each other, and we better look out for our people, whether they want to hear it or not. So they can talk politics and they can talk about this. This is their opinion. That's their opinion. It's okay. Look at what we didn't see and hear what we didn't hear. And then you'll understand why they were able to do what they did. It was already there. And that's my opinion.
You guys want to add to that there?
I told y'all. I told y'all this last week. I told you where it came from. This is where I get it from. I just had to bring it.
Yes. So I want to ask you this here, since me and Andrew and most of our listeners, they are future educators. What's your advice to us of going into this profession and how we can go into the right path instead of the wrong path? So what's your advice to us, and to also with Black males who want to go into this profession as well?
Have a heart for it. Don't do it because I couldn't be a pharmacist, so I'll be a teacher. I can't stand that. That perturbs me. Well, I changed my degree from political science because I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer, so I'll be a teacher. No, you won't. We don't need you. So my advice to you is, if this is something your heart and you're in it and you really want to make a change,
Yes.
keep yourself educated beyond the education. Don't join up with different groups to pay for your loans and then decide you're going to walk away. Our children know about people walking away. They know about people not telling the truth. They know when you care and when you don't care. Be so caring that you can also love, but love the proper way. When you see a kid hurting, be able to look at that and say, you know what? Let me stop this young man or this young lady and let me see what's going on here. Be proactive and not reactive. Don't get mad. Yes, don't get mad if you never see a parent. You are the parent. You're the surrogate parent. You are the uncle. You the cousin. You the big brother. You the man on the corner who they talk to every morning and they give them advice on how they don't need to be like what they see around them. You gotta love it. And if you find you don't love it and you let bureaucracy take away your dream and your drive and your desire, you never had it in the first place. When you say, I'll quit, I can't do this, we lose all of our teachers in the first 3 years. You know if you're going to be a teacher if you make it year 4. If you can get through all of the mess and you go in that class and you do your standards and you follow the law and you do what you're told and you don't be so quick with the mouth, like you said, sit and listen. You are a facilitator. You go into school to be a teacher, but when you get before those kids, you're a facilitator. Because if you talk 70% of the time, and then you turn around and ask them their 30%, they don't know what you said. They don't know what you said. And in all that talking, you've had to correct 4 or 5 of them. Why you doing that? Why you sleeping? Pick your head up, because you're boring. Know when you're boring. Know when your lessons suck. And clean it up real quick. Don't try to shoot from the hip. I've been teaching 28 years. I've been a coach. Yeah, I have to know how to go into a classroom and spend a lesson on a dime, especially when that lesson is going in the wrong direction. That's my job. Study your craft. If you say you're going to major in math, study the math. Be the best math teacher you can be. And when your children don't understand, be able to get off that pedestal of what you went to school to get and bring that thing home so that at the end of the day, when they leave you, if they didn't know that 2 + 2 was 4, they not only know 2 + 2 is 4, but they know that 3 + 1 make 4, and they know that 5 - 1 make 4, and they know that if they add 1 4 times, that makes 4. They need to know every which way they can make 4. But you got to give it to them. And the other thing is, be cognizant about the learning styles and the learning modalities of your children. Because if you don't, you cannot teach the way you learn. You have to be able to know when to put up a visual, when to bring in kinesthetic, tactile things, when to just give auditory to the ones that's just auditory, and be able to do your visuals. And you got to do all of this at one time. It's not in segments. You got to know how to switch it on and switch it off, walking around the class. Don't be afraid of the kids. Don't be afraid that if you're not doing your job, you're going to get fired. You need to be fired if you're not getting your job. Don't be scared. Just get out the way. And that's what I would tell future educators, because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing young people come in, get caught up and say, I'm not doing this no more. I could be doing something else. Well, why didn't you do something else?
Mm-hmm.
Don't come into my field and my profession and then decide you're going to walk away like it's, it's almost like throwing away garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you're young. Yeah, you young. You are. But if you keep hopping from one thing to another, you better get your own, because you got a resume you got to put in there. And if you always zig, leaving from here and leaving from there, and nothing about your career path is consistent, why would people want to hire you? So don't get into education just because you think it's easy. We are dangerous. And let me tell you why we are dangerous. Because we mess with people's mind. We are psychologists. We are manipulators. We even do a little coercion. If you think about all those words, they take on a negative connotation. As a teacher, you got to know how to make it work. Johnny don't like to read, and I got to coerce him in the morning to read. Baby, what you like to do? You like to draw? Yeah, I like to draw. Draw me a picture, and then tell me about it. Do you know you just wrote a story? Let me write down what you said. Now read it back to me. Did I not get what I wanted?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to do that part, don't come in. Stop it right now before you damage somebody's child, because that is not going to be right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I believe me and Andrew, we did an episode of this of where find something that interests your students, because if you show them something that they're not interested in, then it's going to be boring. They're not going to be interested in it. So find something for each one of them that they are interested in. If they are interested in basketball, do a lesson around basketball. Cheerleading, do something around there. Do something that interests your students, because if not, they will see that you are not interested in your learning, and they will see it. They will see it out of you.
Mm-hmm. Luther, you remember that time when I was at the St. Clair Evans, and I made the book for the boys. out of football plays to teach the standards.
Yeah.
I actually took the standards and I made football plays. Quarterback sneak. That was the author's purpose, because sometimes the author don't tell you what they're talking about. They give you hints, but they don't tell you. I call that a quarterback sneak. They had their playbook. Every time they would see me, I got my playbook, Miss Funches. I got my playbook. I got my playbook. And I was so excited. I tell you what, they passed the test. Why? Because they did what you said, Damian. You can't go wrong. You got to meet them where they are, and you got to find their interest. That doesn't mean your lesson goes lacking. That means that how you present your lesson is what's going to draw them in. You still going to get what you got to get. And you'll find a lot of people that would try to kill that by saying, no, that's not what we do. No, that's not what we do. Do not lose your autonomy. Listen to what people have to say. Be cordial. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I never thought about it that way. Well, what do you think about this? Do you think that might work? Could you come and help me kind of develop that? That's how you change veterans who think they already got it and they on their way out the door. That's the hardest thing to do, is to work with a veteran teacher, because they don't want to hear nothing you got to say, because you're young and you don't know, and I got to lead you. And they'll lead you right down a rabbit hole, and they're going to retire. And then you sitting there looking like a bad teacher with a bad eval. Don't let them do it. And stay out the teachers' lounges. I tell that that's a devil's haven. When you hear them talking about kids, go the other way. Don't go read the Cume folders before you get your children before you. That's somebody's opinion in there. You might not never see that. But if you find it, if you look for it, you find it. When you find it, you look for it in the child. That's not fair. So let them let you meet them where they are, and then you'll know what to do with them. And classroom management, when they're interested, you don't have to tell them to get off the floor. You don't have to tell them to go move their clip, because they're right there with you. Change the momentum. Like, yeah, I know we in COVID, but I did a group today, a class today. I made every kid come from behind that big nasty screen and put their desks on chairs on the side of the desk so we could look at each other. We still were social distancing, but I'm not finna look at you through that plastic. That's craziness. And they can't see. And you want to test them. Okay. That's all I gotta say about that one. That big nasty thing, it just makes me so angry. I don't know who came up with it, but we need to do something different. Because you got that between you, and you got a teacher who may be at a desk. Look at all that between y'all. Does that seem like somebody that want to teach you? So, I mean, teaching is difficult because you got to stay on top of it. You got to stay on top of it. You have to. And don't be afraid to say, I messed up. I can write so fast on the board, and I'll say, look at a word. I'll say, oh, y'all mean. And they'll say, what, Miss Wright? What, Miss Wright? I said, how y'all let me put that word up there spell wrong? I said, that's so ugly. I said, now somebody coming here and I'm doing this teaching. I got a misspelled word on the board. Y'all didn't even tell me. Y'all don't have my back. That's so ugly. Oh, yes, we did, Miss Wright. I said, so you gonna just let me go down that rabbit trail? No. Well, what am I missing? Well, we don't know. Go get a dictionary. Help me spell this word. I like to have fun. I do. I really like to have fun. Little things. They don't want much. They want your time, and they want to know that you care, and that what you're giving them, you're giving it to them from your heart, and that you want to see them succeed.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Let your students see that you make mistakes. It is all right. It is all right. It shows you who you are as a teacher. So let them see all of that.
Yes.
Of all your troubles. And
it lets them know you human.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I talk about this all the time on here. you have to have a relationship with your students. If you see one of your students who has their head down or whatever, go check on that student to see
Mm-hmm.
what is wrong with them. Build that relationship with them. Because if
That's right.
not, if you don't have a bond with that student, like I tell Andrew, it's going to be rocky with you and that student because you don't have that foundation of a
Right.
relationship with them. So always check up on your students. Say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything that I can
Mm-hmm.
help? That starts it off with a relationship. Am I
That's right.
right?
That's right. You're right. No relationship, no reception, because they're not going to give you the time of day. They're gonna do what they got to do to get from in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
If it means tearing up the class. In all of my years, I've never had a kid tear up a class I was in, throw a chair, curse at me, spit on me or whatever, because you build the relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Mm-hmm.
worst thing you can have as a teacher, where you walk in and nobody like you. And then you stand there, I don't care if you don't like me. Yes, you do. You want people to like you. Stop tripping. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You care if those children don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we shouldn't say things to make it seem like it's okay. Because when you say that, guess what? They turn the heat up a little bit more. And the next thing
Yep.
you know, you gone because they fix it for you to be gone. So you are absolutely right.
And
Yes.
to add on to that as well, like everybody has a different story. So everybody comes from a different
Yes.
background. So not everybody has the same story
That's right.
as everybody else. So, like for instance, um, I lost my father back about 2 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
Damien could have a different story, or Mr. Luther could have a different story. Everybody has a different story, but either way, there needs to be a teacher to kind of like to have that support system
That's
to
right.
bring that positivity up.
That's true.
Yeah.
And everybody not going to be able to talk to everybody.
Hmm.
No.
Luther may have a student that has a connection with Andrew. Luther can't get through to this kid, but Andrew can.
Hmm.
Does that make him less of a teacher to go to Andrew and say, look, man, you and I got Corey, and, Corey just seemed like every time he come in my class is this, whatever, whatever. Tell me what is it that I need to do to reach him. Not go to Andrew and say, Andrew, when Corey get to acting a fool, can I put him in your room for timeout? Then every time Andrew look up, Corey sitting up in the back of the room. No, you can't do that.
Hmm.
You got to be able to come together and have a meeting of the minds, then include the child. Sometimes you have to ask them, well, what did I do to you? What did I do to you?
Hmm.
They may tell you, last week I asked you for a pencil. You told me you didn't have one. This other kid came up and asked you for a pencil. You went right in your drawer and gave it to him. Something just that minute. We take it as nothing. They don't. They take everything at face value. And if you're going to lie to me about a pencil, I don't have nothing for you. They shut down. When they shut down, it's lights out. I'm going to give you an F. I don't care. I'm going to call your parent. I don't care. You know why they don't care? Because mom and them changing their number every other day, every week.
Mm.
Little boy was trying to be facetious with me the other day. And because I was trying to help them to understand that you have grown people and you have children. And so I said, everybody in here that's got a book bag, raise your hand. They raise their hand. Everybody in here that's got paper in their book bag, raise your hand. They raise their hand. Everybody in here that's sitting in a chair, raise your hand. Raise their hand. Everybody sitting in here that's got a JEA light bill in your name, raise your hand. Grown people, so only people raise their hand. Everybody in here that's got a cell bill, raise your hand. Grown people raise their hand. Everybody in here that has cable and pay the cable bill, raise your hand. Little boy raise his hand. I said, oh, so you got a cable bill in your name? I said, now you're going to have bad credit before you can even get credit. And somebody going to jail for using your name and social security number to get your cable in the house. His face said, I said, yeah, you over here trying to be funny, but I'm telling you what's real. Oh, shut that down real quick. We went right on with the business of the day. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't intimidated. I didn't embarrass him. I just checked it. They know what that means. And when you quit, you know, they like you. Believe it or not, they like you. I have kids just come around me just for me to say silly stuff. I mean, they'll do something silly because they know Miss Wright gonna say something, and they just start laughing because they know Miss Wright gonna give them that attention. When you're wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. When you're right, I'm gonna tell you you're right. When you need support, I'm the adult in the building that's gonna fight for you. Don't fight your battles. So I get all these different kids. I left school this afternoon. Little girl say, "Bye, cousin Wright." I said, "Bye." And now I'm somebody's cousin. I don't. So I mean, that's the joy of it.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of bureaucracy. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of, trying to give this person money and that person money to do this for education. They don't really care. Publishers don't care. Publishers want money. So you tell them, I don't like this picture on page 25. Oh, we can change that picture on page 25. Okay. Because I sat on our curriculum planning committee for the county, and we were changing out our ELA books, and so we were talking about some of the books. So I made mention. I said, when I was going through the rubric, it said that we had to make sure everything was like multicultural. I said, we got to stop thinking that just because it says multicultural, it's all about the pictures, making sure you got some black kids here, some Hispanics over there. I said, I need for you guys to look at this one particular book, and it was at the 5th grade level. And I said, why do we have the light-skinned, pretty black girl up front, right? But then as we got in the middle of the book, we got this dog. I mean, the girl was so black. She was so black. And then you had the dreads. And I'm like, and then the picture was insulting. She wasn't cute. No, we got to do better. We got to do better. Come on, y'all. Come on. Stop drawing pictures. Why don't you just take you some pictures, get permission, put real people in there. Don't do that. You finna put this in front of a kid. What do most children gravitate to? Light skin. They dark. They don't like themselves. Why? Because everybody treat the light skinned kids nice. What do they do to the dark skinned kids? How do we handle that? I know y'all know about the study with the dolls. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. I want you to look it up. It happened a long time ago about dolls, babies, and little black girls. And a psychiatrist was doing a study. And I want y'all to go back and read that. And I want you to think about today and think about how people treat you because of your skin tone. How they look at you because of your skin tone. It still happens. And the sad part about it is, it's not the Caucasians, it's us. We do that. Teachers, take the light-skinned girl, children. Oh, you all get to go to the office. Poll Kizzy over here, hair might not have been combed. You're not going to send her nowhere. Put her in the back of the classroom. Act like you don't even see her. I have bought clothes. I have bought shoes. I have done hair in school. In school. Because I wasn't going to let a kid go to class with their head looking bad. Girl, come on in here. Let me get this hair right. Get in trouble, I get in trouble. But we finna fix this. All of that is teaching. All of that is teaching. And it'll come back. Fellas, it's going to come back to you. You're going to see these kids and you're going to be like, now, what grade I taught this kid? When did I teach them? They remember you. I mean, I had a young man. What did I tell you, Luther? He had a crown or something. I know it was in the game. He had
the crown. Yeah, the Lion King.
Yeah. He walked up to me and said, you don't remember me, Mr. Wright? I said, no. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And now my mind going right. I said, boy, how you doing? I'm doing good, Miss Wright. I'm doing good. I'll never forget you. You helped me get out of high school. You helped me pass my ACT. I didn't want to read nothing, but you made me get it. You made me I ain't like you, but you made me get it. And I'm glad you did. I'm working somewhere. He said he was working. Hey, he working. I don't care if you're in a game. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to have them kind too. Because when you in areas you don't know, you see somebody you know, guess what? You ain't got to worry about too much stuff. So I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. The struggle is real for real. Yeah, it is. I don't mind. But you want to make sure you make an impression on whoever you stand before. Whatever you do, leave a lasting impression and let the kids know you're a safe place. You're somebody they can come talk to. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to say, why am I in a classroom with the Kool-Aid when I taught in high school? Seemed like all these high school kids would just come to my, who are you? Well, such and such said that you let them sit in the class. Oh, okay. Okay. Come on, sit on down. Just don't raise no stank up in here. You can sit down. It's cool. Come on. It's all right. You know. That's what you want to be. You want to be the teacher that got the class that's got the Kool-Aid, where everybody feel comfortable and they come talk to you about anything. Because you might be stopping a child from committing suicide. You'll never know.
Yeah, you got that, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm writing this down.
So
kind of like having I'm sorry. Kind of like having kind of like having a open door policy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you always want to be up front with them. You could tell me anything, but if it's something that's detrimental and I have to report it, I'm going to let you know I'm going to have to report that. Not that you can't trust me, but if it's something that's going to cause them harm, you got to get them help. And they okay with that too when you tell them, because you're telling them up front. You know, if it's something detrimental to you, I'm going to have to get some more support for you. And a lot of times, that's what they want, especially the older they get. If they're being abused at home, they want you to do it. They want the teacher to do it, a teacher that they trust, because they're tired and they don't know how to do it. So that teacher is there to help them, to go through it, to be there for them.
So I want to ask you this here, and this is my final question on my end. As when this episode comes out, President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will already be into the White House. So, and then also we have our very first lady, Dr. Jill Biden, enter into the White House, who is also an educator. So I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts of our First Lady, who is an educator, and how do you think once she's in there, what changes she will make to our education system?
Well, the good part about it is, yeah, the good part about it is the Secretary of Education is an educator. And so, I'm pretty sure she'll probably have some type of role in there, whatever her desires are. Um, I'm just glad that we got educators at the helm because you can get to them. They get it. You don't have to convince them. They get it. What we have to do is not give all of our, just let them just do everything. Like, well, he's an educator. Whatever he say, we'll do. No, 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 no. We still got to talk about some things. I'm hoping that they have an open door, that teachers can get to them. And what I mean by that is, if I write you, don't throw my letter in the trash. Take what I'm sending you and at least read it, if nothing else. Have teachers, at the ones, boots on the ground teachers that are in these areas that you're trying to make all these policies for, have them on committees. Open up committees for educators, true educators, to be on some of these committees, because he's the Secretary of Education, but he can only do so much. It takes all of us. And after a while, when you get removed from the business, per se, of running a school or running a district, to now you are over the country, educators and the education for the whole country, for the whole United States. That takes you to another level. We want to make sure that you stay grounded. Make sure you remember why you were chosen. Everybody's not going to agree with everything that he does, but let's agree to disagree and let's talk about it. Because it's going to take everybody to do what we got to do. And we got a big job to do. This Common Core, and now the states are going back to their own standards. And we're talking about adoption of new books and curriculum and things of that nature. Every state is different, and every policy in every state is not the same. People are saying, take the government out and bring it back to the states. Bring it back to the locals when it comes to decisions about what happens in a state. I can see that, but you can't take the government out because we still need the money. And the money still got to trickle down from them. Title I is federal money. Money for students with special education disabilities, that's federal money. Yeah, I understand you don't want them to make a policy and just make it fall down on everybody. I get that. But you can't remove them, because then where you going to get your money? Because if you don't have enough money in your state, then how are you going to provide for your kids when you say you want everybody to be educated?
Andrew, Coach Darnell, you guys have anything else to add?
No, I'm all good.
I'm speechless.
Well, it was nice hanging out with you guys. And I do want you to know, this is my Founders Day. And I'm supposed to be on my virtual Founders ceremony. But you know what? I'm still doing Delta business. Because this is important. Because this is one of our pieces that we do. And education is one of those foundational pieces of our sorority. So I'm glad that you entertained me tonight as far as being able to come on and speak with you guys I hope that you got something from what I had to say to you, and God bless you, and keep the course. And hopefully one day we'll get to meet in person. Who knows? I might be standing in a convention doing a big talk, opening up for a convention. I'm all about trying to get there, guys. I'm trying to get there. And your podcast might put me on the map, so I'm okay. So good night. Thank y'all. Have a blessed day.
Yes,
You
Bye,
too.
baby.
you do the same.
Okay. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'm like Coach Darnell. I'm speechless. I'm speechless at this moment here. It was great having her on. It was great having her on. Really, I learned a lot. How about you, Andrew?
Mm.
You're speechless as well. Yes, you have nothing to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Coach Darnell, I just want to thank you again for bringing her on. Seriously.
I told y'all. I told y'all see where I got it from.
Yeah.
This is why I go hard. But I mean that's what she instilled in me. You know what I mean? I do the same thing when I coach basketball. I do the same thing, when I teach class. Like I'm not in this to leave tomorrow. As mad as people, I'm sorry, as ignorant as some of my staff members are, you're not gonna drive me away from what I love to do. I don't care what it is. You can talk about me 15 million times a day. I'm still gonna come Lois Web in the morning. I'm gonna clock in. I'm gonna go teach those kids. Here's the loud man say, "Well, coach ain't teaching that." Well, I'm not worried about that because I know I teach you things. I'm still coming in and I'm gonna clock in and I'm gonna teach. That's what it's about. That's what I need you guys to see and realize and understand. When you guys get into that field, teach. I don't care what nobody says about you. When God wakes you up in the morning, you going up for them babies. You ain't going up for nobody else. You going in there for those babies to do what you need to do to emphasize what it is to love math. How you can correspond with math. Because you're dealing with math every day. Every day you're dealing with math. So, you know, things happen for a reason. God put the pieces
Mm-hmm.
in place.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, we just getting started. They ain't even seen the fire yet. They ain't even seen the fire yet. That ain't nothing. And if you take all
Yeah.
the guests away, and just put us four, you still gonna get a meal. You still gonna get a 5-course meal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just add,
Exactly.
just adding the guest is your dessert. So when we come on this
Yeah.
together, we are the meal. We are the course.
Yes.
We are the meal of the night. So when you eat us,
Yes.
you're gonna be full. And when you be full and you want a little dessert, you can get that little dessert over there from the gift. But at the end of the day, you're gonna still walk out of that place full. And that's what we bring
Mm-hmm.
to education. We want to make our kids full.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because all of us, me, you, and KJ, um, we all bring something different to the table. We all do. And that's what needs to happen into the educational world as well. Seriously. So I just want to thank you again, Coach Darnell, for bringing your mother. This was a great episode here. Seriously, a great episode. Um, and thank you to all of you guys, our listeners, for tuning in to this episode here. It was great of you guys for tuning in to this episode here. So make sure you follow us onto our social media platforms. We are available everywhere, you guys. So listen to us. And then also, you guys, we will be back for season 5, Thursday, March the 18th. So mark your calendars because we're not going anywhere. Like me and Andrew keep on saying, we are not going anywhere. We are just beginning. Just beginning. So stay tuned for season 5, you guys, and also some more exciting news we can't wait to tell you guys. So until then, you guys, take care of yourself, be blessed. Make sure you wear your mask. People, please wear your mask because they save lives. Social distance and wash your hands. And we will see you guys next time on Future Educators Talk. So good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. We will see you guys next time.
Don't just listen to Future Educators Talk on your smartphone. Continue the conversation online. Like us on Facebook. Be a part of our conversation by telling us what you think of our episodes. Join us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content. Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date with what's happening on our podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss future episodes. And beyond, it's you who keeps Future Educators Talk going. So like, comment, share, subscribe, review, and connect everywhere with us. You get social. So let's listen together.